I've always been skeptical about Ouija boards, but last Halloween, my friends convinced me to try it out. We gathered in my dimly lit living room, the candles casting eerie shadows on the walls. The air was thick with anticipation as we placed our fingers on the planchette and asked the first question, "Is anyone here?" At first, nothing happened. But then, the planchette began to move. Slowly, it spelled out H E L L O. My friends laughed nervously, but I felt a chill run down my spine. We continued, asking the spirit for its name. It responded. D A N I E L. My friend Sarah asked,
"Daniel, how did you die?"
The planchette moved swiftly this time. M U R D E R. Suddenly, the room grew colder, and I felt a pressure on my chest, making it hard to breathe. I wanted to stop, but my friends urged me to continue. Against my better judgment, I asked, "Daniel, why are you here?" The planchette moved again, this time more aggressively. "Why? Oh. You." My heart raced. "What do you want from us?" I asked, my voice trembling. D E A T H. The candles flickered and went out, plunging the room into darkness. We scrambled to turn on the lights, but the switch wouldn't work. Panic set in as we heard footsteps echoing through the house, even though we were the only ones there. Desperate, I yelled, "Goodbye," and forced the planchette to the goodbye on the board. The footsteps stopped, and the lights flickered back on. We were all shaken, but relieved it was over. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt like someone was watching me. When I finally drifted off, I was plagued by nightmares of a dark figure standing at the foot of my bed. The next morning, I found a note on my nightstand. It was in my handwriting, but I had no memory of writing it. It simply said, "He's still here." It was a quiet Saturday night when my sister, Emily, and I decided to use the Ouija board we found in our grandmother's attic. We set it up in front of the large antique mirror in our living room, thinking it would add to the spooky atmosphere. We placed our fingers on the planchette and asked if any spirits wanted to communicate. Almost immediately, the planchette began to move, spelling out Y E S. We asked for its name, and it responded. M A R I A. Curious, I asked, "Maria, how did you die?" The planchette spelled out A C C I D E N T. Emily asked,
"Are you happy where you are?"
The response was chilling. N O. The room grew colder, and I noticed a faint outline of a figure in the mirror. It was a woman, with hollow eyes and a mournful expression. I glanced at Emily, who seemed entranced by the mirror. "Maria, why are you unhappy?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. The planchette moved violently. M U R D E R. Suddenly, Emily's reflection in the mirror began to change. Her eyes turned black, and a sinister smile spread across her face. The real Emily looked terrified, frozen in place. The reflection spoke, its voice a low growl.
"You should have left me alone."
Panic surged through me. I shouted,
"Goodbye!"
and forced the planchette to the goodbye on the board. The mirror shattered, and Emily collapsed to the floor. When she came to, she had no memory of what happened. We decided to bury the Ouija board in the backyard, hoping to end the nightmare. But that night, I saw her reflection in the broken mirror again. This time, she was smiling, and I knew Maria had found a new home. After moving into my new apartment, I discovered an old Ouija board hidden in a closet. My roommate, Lisa, and I decided to give it a try, despite feeling uneasy about it. We set it up on the living room floor, the flickering candlelight casting ominous shadows around us. With our fingers on the planchette, we asked if anyone wanted to communicate. The planchette moved to yes. We asked for the spirit's name, and it spelled out T-O-M. Lisa asked,
Tom, how did you die?
The response was chilling. F-I-R-E. Suddenly, the room felt suffocatingly hot, and the walls seemed to close in on us. I asked, Tom, why are you here? The planchette moved quickly. R-E-V-E-N-G-E. Lisa looked at me, her eyes wide with fear.
What do you want revenge for?
She asked. D-E-A-T-H. The temperature in the room continued to rise, and we started to hear whispers, unintelligible but filled with malice. I could feel the anger in the air, pressing down on us. Desperate, I said, we need to stop. Let's say goodbye. But the planchette wouldn't move to goodbye. Instead, it spelled out N-O. The whispers grew louder, filling the room with a cacophony of voices. The walls began to shake, and the candles were snuffed out, leaving us in complete darkness. We tried to get up, but it felt like an invisible force was holding us down. I screamed, "Goodbye!" with all my might and forced the planchette to the goodbye position. The shaking stopped, and the whispers faded away. We sat in silence, too terrified to move. The next day, I found scorch marks on the walls and the word death etched into the floor where the board had been. We moved out immediately, leaving the cursed board behind. But every night since, I've heard whispers through the walls, reminding me that Tom is still out there, waiting for his revenge.
Your support means everything to us. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen for more shadowy delights.